Okay, Kritika, we are live.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. So, today we are here again for the next session. And today we are going to discuss on part 2 of chapter 9, Karma, of the book Ancient Wisdom by Annie Besant. So, without wasting any time, let us sit in meditation for a minute. Oh, hidden life, vibrant in every atom. Oh, hidden light, shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know is also one every other. Come back, everyone. Thank you for joining. So, today we have Sister Suvralina. So, Sister Suvralina is an HR professional with more than 25 years of experience. She is a life member of the Theosophical Society of India since 2003. She has addressed in youth camps on motivating and leading youth. She is associated with NGOs and organizations working for holistic development of children. She founded a new lodge, Prayas Theosophical Lodge, in December 2017. Members of the lodge are mostly young children and youth for whom she conducts weekly meetings and also seminars, special study classes, workshops time to time. During her membership of last 18 years, Sister Suvralina has also been an active POS member working for poor and unprivileged children. She took charge of TOS Delhi region in 2016 as the regional secretary and has been dedicatedly working under the guidance of senior members of TOS. So, let us all welcome her for today's talk. Over to you, Sister Surlina.
Good morning. Namaste. Thank you, Kritika. Thank you, all of you who have rejoined. So, today is the last part of karma we're going to talk about. So far, we have been talking about evolution, plane by plane, life by life. Again, understanding how the rules are set for us, the rules which we only created for us, and that we are deserving, and that is why we are facing all the incidents, situations, surroundings as created by us, by repeated reincarnation, and by the law of karma. So that is very clear to all of us now. In the last part of the karma session, let us revisit, let us also conclude with our actionables. Again, I'm talking about karma here because action is karma, but again the karmas which we would deliberately, with understanding the proper motive we should do. That is what we are now going ahead. That is why this part we will start with the lines from the book. The knower of karma diligently tries to choose the best path. because there are many ways to do a thing, easy ways to do, difficult ways to do a thing, right way to do a thing, wrong way to do a thing, quicker ways to do a thing, a way to, work hard and do a thing. There are many ways to do, but the knower of karma would always choose the best path out of it. How come? Because he would be careful about his motive, eliminating selfish consideration and purifying his heart. Then he acts fearlessly. When you have a pure heart, you will have no fear in your heart, mind, body, soul, anywhere. You would act absolute fearless because you don't have any selfish consideration. Your motives are clear. And if this action turns out to be a blunder, he willingly accepts the suffering, which results from his mistake as a lesson which will be useful in the future. So now, because one is fearless, one has now pure motives, unselfish, pure thoughts, the actions are pure, but then out of certain things, out of any other karma, past karma, somebody else's karma, or whatever, group karma, like collective karma, we say, something doesn't happen. Something doesn't give the best result. Even if the action is best or the path is best, but due to our back accumulated karma, we are suffering, let's say. Then the person has to accept it willingly, knowing fully well that this situation is created by me, maybe in my past lives. So this is the result. So there is nothing to worry. This general principle that the force belongs to the plane on which it is generated is one of the far-reaching import. If it is liberated with the motive of gaining physical objects, it works on the physical plane and attaches the actor to that plane. If it aims at devachanic objects, it works on the devachanic plane and attaches the actor there too. If it has no motive save the divine service, it is set free on the spiritual plane and therefore cannot attach the individual, since the individual is asking for nothing. Because the person is now ready to accept anything and everything around him as is. Today I have enough to eat, good. I have not enough to eat, that's good. I have enough to spend, good. Not enough to spend, good. Because this is a new situation for me out of my past karma. Tomorrow I will have another situation, another dealing of life because of any other karma. It is a sequence of karma. That is a sequence of incidents happening with me. We all would notice people who are now a bit advanced than us, and they are continually living in a spiritual plane, not this physical plane. Well, they would be seemingly in this physical plane, but they would always be on a spiritual notion. They're always on a higher plane. We would not find them worrying about petty things in life. They're so free, they're so light, because they do not carry the baggage of suffering. Suffering is there, but they're not carrying the baggage of suffering. There is no much luxury in their life, but they are so free, so happy, so fun-loving, so light-hearted. This we have to observe around, and that will decide what kind of a life they are leading. It's all about their karmas being cleaned up. Out of all the karma of the past, there is a certain amount which can be exhausted within the limits of a single life. There are some kinds of karma that are so incongruous that they could not be worked out in a single physical body, but would require very different types of body for their expression. There are liabilities contracted towards other souls, and all these souls will not be in incarnation at the same time. Now, I have a karmic account with somebody, but that person probably has not got this physical body in this life when I am here with this physical body. That means even if most of my karmas are adjusted, but for that particular karma for which I have to settle my account, I have to come back again on that particular time period, time and space, when the person with whom I have to settle my account takes a birth. That is why there could be a good gap also between our reincarnation and our karmic accounts to be cleared. There is karma that must be worked out in some particular nation or particular social position, while the same man has other karma that needs an entirely different environment. See, as an Indian, I have some karmic account to be settled. Maybe I have got some karmic account which has to be settled when I would be born in France as a French nationality, or maybe an English nationality. So that is why we cannot say I am an Indian, I'm so proud of it. I hate Pakistanis, I hate the Chinese, I hate so and so. We can't claim that. We don't know what karma will take up. Whether I'm going to be born in a different country, which I'm today supposedly hating, we don't know what karma will make us do. That is why serious dislikings are not healthy. I'll tell you this word healthy. Yes, this will not give us a good breathing space, rather, I would say, in our karmic chain. So serious hatred is definitely a no. Like very, sincere attachment. Attachment and detachment both have to be understood properly. We do not know in which nation we will take birth for a karmic account settlement. Part only, therefore, of his total karma can be worked out in a given life. And this part is selected by the great lords of karma, of whom something will presently be said, and the soul is guided to incarnate in a family, a nation, a place, a body, suitable for the exertion of that aggregate of causes which can be worked out together. In all this, the man has no power of choice. All is fixed by the choices he has made in the past. It is like we have ordered a menu. We have gone to a restaurant or a hotel. We have ordered a menu. Whatever we have ordered, we will get it. We might ask for something else afterwards, not liking the menu, but that menu is credited to my account now. I have to pay for it. I might not eat that. I might, ask for another thing because by mistake it has come. I didn't mean it. But we will struggle negotiating with that. Then we have to pay for this misordered menu and then the new menu. So we have no choice. Everything is fixed because we have already asked for it in the past. And he must discharge to the uttermost farthing the liabilities he has contracted. The physical, astral, and mental bodies which the soul takes on for a new life period are, as we have seen, the direct result of his past. And they form a most important part of his ripe karma. They limit the soul on every side, and his past rises up in judgment against him, marking out the limitations which he has made for himself. Cheerfully to accept this and diligently to work at their improvement is the part of the wise man, for he cannot escape from them. I just got reminded of one of my very close friend. She's a very good Odissi dancer. She lives in Mumbai. She's again an HR consultant. So in one of my consulting assignments, a dear friend of mine had introduced her. And she has, also she has been an actress also. She has an Odia movie actress, and she has done good movies, a good dancer. What happened one day, after a couple of years of our work engagement, and, we got very friendly. All of a sudden, I did not, receive her calls, or whether even if I would call her, she would not respond back. So it happened for continuous 6 months. Then after 6 to 7 months, I got a update on her Facebook account that, okay, thank God, I'm back to my, it's like my second life and all. Then I just called her again. Then when I got to learn that she had serious illness, something cancerous, something very serious, and her vocal cords were to be operated and all. And after 1 or 2 weeks when she could, speak about the incident, and her tone was changed literally, and she, started stammering. The voice would not be very clear. Then I got to understand that she had got back to back some operation. That is why the condition was not good. Then I realized she quit her all, HR related assignments. She even stopped dancing, and she went to Odisha, and she opened up a shop for weavers. So she, gathered up local weavers, and she went for, selling their handloom saris and all. And she had that. She did it in a grand way. Then after 7-8 months, she did some other programs also. So she started living her life on a different note, living all her dancing, acting, all this career, even HR. And she went to that kind of a business. She started doing a business. After almost again another 8-9 months, all of a sudden she calls me in the morning and she says, Suvralina, do you know somebody who can tell me about my past life? I said, why? Why all of a sudden you're asking? She said, no, I don't know. In this entire period of time, because I have been suffering from anything or the other, things are not working. I just wanted to understand about my karma and about what I would have done in my life and why I'm, back to back, facing so many things. Somehow I knew somebody who is a, past life regression practitioner, and she stays in Gurgaon. I said, I'll give her number to you. But I do not, personally, I will not recommend you at this point in time, because I think you are not ready to accept what you currently are having. So how would you accept your past? He said, what do you mean by that? I said, what if once you know your past and you get to learn that you have done so many things that, which you cannot digest. Are you ready to accept your past? Just think through it. I'm giving you 2-3 days. Just think through it. Whenever you are ready to accept your past, then you, come to me and we'll discuss. I'll personally introduce you to the past life regression. After a couple of days, he said, no, probably, I'll take some time. And gradually, I just hope this would have worked out. Probably she accepted her situation. And I'm really happy to see that she has started dancing again. She had quit everything. She had quit the best part of her life. She was bothering back to back on her situations. She has started, even if, her body is not, kind of helping her, she has started. I saw some of her posts. She used to go to Banaras to do some Ras Leela based on Odissi dance. She has now started thinking of that, coming back to that forum. So probably I learned from her, this life lesson is, when you start accepting what you currently have, things will start improving. It's not about things will start improving. Mentally, you will start accepting things, and the surrounding will also change. The surrounding will support. It can happen to any one of us. So instead of worrying why my life is so, why I'm, back to back getting so many pain and suffering, the moment we accept, okay, I have done something and this is a result, or maybe since it is the rule, let me recreate my life. When I say use the word recreate, if you remember, last time I had used this word cause it. If I want something, I should cause it. Similarly, if I want to renovate my life, I have to recreate my life. So these are not just words. Recreating, causing are not just words. These are like boosters. This will tell us that we are masters of our life. We are our own masters. My remote is in my hand. I will see what I have to do in my life. So let us be choosy about the path, about the lifestyle, about our actions. Every action is the final expression of a series of thoughts. To borrow an illustration from chemistry, we obtain a saturated solution of thought by adding thought after thought of the same kind until another thought or even an impulse, a vibration from without, will produce the solidification of the whole, the action which expresses the thoughts. If we persistently reiterate thoughts of the same kind, say of revenge, we at last reach the point of saturation and Any impulse will solidify this into action and a crime results. Many a times we would see that we are not actually angry, there is an outburst, but we do something very wrong and we do not even realize. And afterwards we come to that consciousness, okay, why I did this? I did not mean to do this. Why I did this? Killing out of impulse, or scolding someone, out of blue, all of a sudden getting furious, getting very impulsive. We do not know, the back end of our processing in the brain, the thoughts are actually continuously churning up. The more and more the same pattern of thoughts are churning up, they are creating images, they are creating solid vibrations, they are creating a good strength, both for bad and good actions. The more and more we think that, again, I'll tell you, this is again creating. We create that incident. We foresee, because continuously we are thinking about that, and we make it occur, be it good or bad. It could be a crime, it could be love, it could be anything, the opposite also. We may have persistently reiterate thoughts of help to another to the point of saturation. And when the stimulus of opportunity touches us, they crystallize out as an act of heroism. Many a times people would say, oh, I didn't even know, how did I get that courage to get into that situation, and I did it. Because back of the mind, there is some amount of thought and desire. I want to, really help that guy. I really want to help. I want to do something for the poor. I want to do something for these people. So you would get an opportunity, a situation. And we would not realize how we would, act out of nothing and we come out as a hero. We even don't know. There are many people who are very fearful about fire, but they have gone into fire to save somebody. There are people who are fearful about height, but they have jumped from the height just to save a child. Because that time, all those thoughts which you would have accumulated will start crystallizing, will start taking shape. A man may bring up over with him some ripe karma of this kind, and the first vibration that touches such a mass of thoughts, ready to solidify into action, will hurry him without his renewed volition unconsciously into the commissioning of the act. He cannot stop to think. He will just do it, because now everything is saturated. People would say, I did it without thinking. There is no time now to think, because everything is done. Everything is built up. Now you'll go and do it. Thoughts are so powerful. Unknowing that, the person who says that I did it without thinking, unknowing that he had thought so often that he had made that action inevitable. When a man has will to do an act many times, he at last fixes his will irrevocably. And it is only a question of opportunity when he will act. That is why keeping a good thought back of the mind will attract opportunities. And same for killing a person also, or doing a crime rather. We are continually making habits by the repetition of purposive actions guided by the will. Then the habit becomes a limitation and we perform the action automatically. Perhaps we are then driven to the conclusion that the habit is a bad one, and we begin laboriously to unmake it by thoughts of the opposite kind. And after many an inevitable lapse into it, the new thought current turns the stream and we regain our full freedom, often again gradually to make another fetter. So old thought forms persist and limit our thinking capacity, showing as individual and as national prejudices. Now it talks about certain thoughts which are so much imbibed in our body and mind. We can't go out of that. Many a times we limit ourselves from that thought because there are some prejudices, some individual thought pattern have built up, and we cannot go out of that. These we have made inevitable by our past thinkings, and they now limit us, and we often chafe against them. they can be improved slowly and gradually. The limits can be expanded, but they cannot be suddenly transcended. Nothing can be transcended suddenly, actually. It takes time. So one part is the continuous thinking. The first part is accepting the things. Second part is to be very, very careful about the thought pattern we are going through day by day. What is that we are actually continuously thinking? And then understanding what is that is becoming a habit of mine. We have to, again, the qualification of the discrimination which we were discussing in the Art of Fit of Master will help us. What is that I have to choose? Which thought pattern I have to choose? Then only I can, have control on my motives, actions, my thought patterns. Every day, we cannot say, okay, for 3-4 days or this week, I will just, follow what I'm thinking and check what kind of thoughts are coming to my mind. And then for a week or so, I will just, be lazy. No. We have to be our own guards of our thoughts, guards and guardians of our thoughts, rather. Like a guardian, controls a younger one. Okay, just don't go there. There is fire. Just don't go there. There's a dirty place. Keep at home, or keep things like this. A guardian helps the person, helps a child to regulate his or her life. We have to somehow be a guardian to our thoughts, just to see where it is going. Hey, where are you going? Not exactly saying that, but again, when you follow that, okay, this is how my thought is going. This is how my thought pattern is working. Let us, be a bit careful about that, day in, day out. And it actually helps. That has been my personal experience. That's what I'm sharing. It actually helps. Sometimes you would be knowing, no, I'm not jealous, but actually deep within there is some amount of jealousy. You will feel, okay, I think it's not good. Or greediness. I think I had enough. Why I'm thinking like that? No, I think, there is some amount of greed again, The moment we understand what is that negative thing happening within, or how do I, keep a check on that, it will help us. Now let us come to collective karma as per the book. Now one is the individual part I am ready to do. Now collective karma is something we have to understand deeply. Then only we can, the very complaining attitude will go out of us. We know that when a number of forces play on a point, the motion of the point is not in the direction of any one of these forces, right? But in the direction which is the result of their combination, because now there are a lot of other forces coming in. So the karma of a group is the resultant of the interacting forces of the individuals composing it. Now, what is collective karma? It is a group of people's karma, like a classroom, a cricket team, a party, working for a election campaign, or a particular religious or community belief group who go for a riot or go for a strike. These are all group activity. So all individuals are carrying some force into that activity, and that is why the resultant force will be in a direction of all the forces which accumulate. An ego is drawn by his individual karma into a family, having set up in previous life's ties, which closely connect with him with some of the other egos composing it. So the family has a lot of people, and we have some karmic settlement to do. And that is why we are chosen to be in that collective group. Now, there is an interesting connotation here. Let's say the family has inherited property from a grandfather who's wealthy. And here turns up descended from the grandfather's elder brother, who had been supposed to have died childless. And the wealth passes to him and leaves the father of the family heavily indebted. It is quite possible that our ego had no connection in the past to the heir, to whom in past lives the father had contracted some obligation which has resulted in this catastrophe, and yet he is threatened with suffering by his action, being involved with the family karma. If in his own individual past there was a wrongdoing which can be adjusted by suffering caused by the family karma, he is left involved in it. If not, he is by some unforeseen circumstances lifted out of it, perchance by some benevolent stranger who feels an impulse to adopt and educate him, the stranger being one who in the past was his debtor. I'll give you a very good example. Some examples are coming up, just because I'm reading this kind of portions. One of my friends stays in Mumbai, and they are four brothers and sisters. Okay. The elder brother is in Hyderabad, well settled. The elder sister is also settled in Raurkela. This younger daughter is my friend actually. So she's in Mumbai, all well settled. And the youngest of the boy, he settled in Germany. So all four are highly settled, and I mean, they don't need any parental support anymore. Now their parents had a lot of property. I mean, they had a house in Cuttack, in Raurkela, in their village also. And the father died. When the father died and the mother is alone, the mother asked all these four children, you guys just come and let us talk about the property and what to do. I mean, how do we distribute and all. In normal families, it happens. Now, my friend was saying, nobody wants to go and settle in Odisha because we all are outside and we have no plans to go there. And we probably do not want to do anything with that. So what is happening these days? There is a boy who does not have a parent. I mean, his parents had probably dead when he was a child. But he was not an orphan. He studied and he did well and he did a job or something like that, local job. And he was member of a Prajapita Brahma Kumari Sangha in Odisha, Raurkela branch. And eventually, my friend's parents were also part of Prajapita Brahma Kumari. And this boy, just because they are all four children are outside and they do not have any child to look after them. So this boy used to come and, help them out when the father was alive. Now, out of that relationship, so they created a relationship as if, he's their child, and probably he's their own child now because all four are outside. Nobody is going to come back and, be there. Now, this boy grew up with them. Now, this boy is also staying in the same family. And recently, all these four children have decided that since we do not want anything, father's property and all, let us give everything to that boy. Now, this boy did not have parents. He got a parent now in this life. I mean, in this life, he lost his parent, but got a new parent. Now, he is also the new heir. Now, what will he say about such a, it's a nice experience. It's a nice example that children of the own children deny to, go for any property, hearing. And there is this stranger who is now hearing this property and he is equally being loved by everybody in the family. Maybe he had some past karma. Or maybe he had got some day, this family was indebted and they're repaying. We don't know. My friend was, discussing with me. So how would, she also discusses theosophy with me. She was just saying, who would be that boy to our parents? So somehow we kind of talked about past life. So this is how this example also talks about it. So we don't know. So yet more clearly does this come out in the working of such things as railway accidents, shipwrecks, floods, cyclones, etc. A train is wrecked, the catastrophe being immediately due to the action of the drivers, the guards, the railway directors, the makers or employees of that line, who thinking themselves wronged, send clustering thoughts of discontent and anger against it as a whole. So here we are talking about all those accidents and massive death that is occurring. Those who have in their accumulated karma, but not necessarily in the right karma, the depth of a life suddenly cut short, may be allowed to drift into this accident and pay their debt. Another, intending to go by the train, but with no such debt in his past, is providentially saved by being late for it. This is another example. You will also agree with me. Many a time, even one of my colleagues said he was supposed to go by a particular bus to his village, and for some silly reason, he couldn't make it and he missed it. And he shouted on his wife, like, just because of you, I missed the bus. I don't know when I'll get the new bus. But after a couple of hours, he got to learn that the bus met with an accident and all were dead. Probably he was saved. So the wife who he was scolding for, causing the lateness and not getting the bus, now probably saved. That is some karma. So we don't know where and how the collective karma will play. We might be saved from a collective karma. I mean, in that group, all of a sudden we are there, but we are probably not a part of that entire group as a karmic debt. So we will be saved. Even I heard of an incident where somebody entered a train, and probably he did not sit in that particular bogie, and that bogie got met with an accident, and the names were declared, and because his name was already in the list, people thought he was dead, but he had actually changed the seat or something like that. There was a story in a newspaper long back. So this happens. People also get saved if they are not a part of the karmic link. The lords of karma are the great spiritual intelligences who keep the karmic records and adjust the complicated workings of karmic law. Somebody is taking a note of it, definitely. And then it comes, as the soul must return to earth until he has discharged all his liabilities, thus adjusting all his individual karma. And as in each life, thoughts and desires generate fresh karma, the question will arise in the mind, how can this constantly renewing bond be put an end to? Now, this is a beautiful question. If every time I'm going to be paying my debt, then I'm again, taking a loan. So my life is going to be like this. I'm not going to come out of this chain. How can the soul attain his liberation? Thus, we come to the ending of karma and have to investigate how this may be. The binding element in karma is the first thing to be clearly grasped. The outward going energy of the soul attaches itself to some object, and the soul is drawn back by his tie to the place where that attachment may be realized by union with the object of desire. So long as the soul attaches himself to any object, he must be drawn to the place where that object can be enjoyed. Good karma binds the soul as much as does bad. For any desire, whether for objects herein or devachan, must draw the soul to the place of gratification. There is a desire, it will be gratified. And that is why we keep on binding. Action is prompted by desire. An act is done not for the sake of doing the act, but for the sake of obtaining by the act something that is desired, of acquiring its results, or as it is technically called, of enjoying its fruit. Men work not because they want to dig or build or weave, but because they want the fruits of digging, building, and weaving in the shape of money or of goods. In our daily life, there could be little acts of kindness, good act without any desire or result. A very small example, which does not literally talk about the result of our immediate karma, but probably it will trigger something in our mind. I had read about the mother of Subrata Bagchi. Any of you who doesn't know about Subrata Bagchi, he's an entrepreneur. He runs an IT company. He was in a very remote place in Odisha, remote village place, Kalahandi in Odisha, Kalahandi Koraput side. His father was an administrative officer somewhere, in a remote village, and they were 7 to 8, siblings. And he led a very, very noble life. His parents were superb in the sense they would not unnecessarily, provide a luxurious life to their children. They would make them understand the realities of life. And all these children, they were studying in a very local village school, and were put in conditions very, very simple, though their father was such a senior of government official. And even he would not make the children travel by the government vehicle. The Subrata Bagchi writes that we only sat in the vehicle when the vehicle was standing. They cannot, use the government vehicle because that was only for government work. He cannot take his family in government vehicle. That was his father. And look at his mother. Every time they would, change what we say, a government, what we say, quarter. Okay. Every time they will change that quarter, their mother would, before leaving the house, she would clean the house properly. And what is the reason? She would say, whoever comes to this new house, whoever comes to acquire this house, when we leave this quarter and go to another quarter means the play, that government house or government house resident provided to government official. So whoever comes to this quarter should not feel that, the people who were living in this, how did they leave this house to us? So we cannot, leave a clumsy house to somebody. That was rule number one, what he describes, like what are the learnings from his childhood. Number two, she would plant a lot of trees, not flower plants, trees like mango, coconut, all those in big trees. And those trees will take time to actually bring fruits. So the neighborhood people would say, why are you planting this? By the time the tree would give some fruits, you will be out from this house. Why are you doing this? So she would very politely say, I am just giving it to the persons who would come to this neighborhood and would come to stay in this place. I want to give them something. So I am doing it for them, so that I do not want to live this place like this. I have lived in this place. So let me create something which will go to the other person who comes to stay here. So this is a very basic way of, working hard, doing an act, fully well knowing that you are not going to enjoy the fruit, but then also you're doing. I consider this a very, very unselfish act, a very noble act. And, this is how people should treat their future gen or future immediate people who are going to, follow them. Forget about future lives. So this is a bit of consciousness. This is a conscious act, I'm saying. So there are people who are also doing acts without any, desire to enjoy the fruit. Action itself has no power to hold the soul, for with the completion of the action, it slips into the past, but the ever-renewed desire for fruit constantly spurs the soul into fresh activities, and thus new chains are continually being forged. So probably by starting to act like this, fully well understanding that I'm not going to enjoy the fruit, but still I will do it, this will give us a trigger to look at life differently. Because until the man is approaching divinity, he needs the urgings of desires, and the desires simply grow purer and less selfish as he climbs upwards. Nonetheless, desires bind him to rebirth, and if he would be free, he must destroy them. When a man begins to long for liberation, he is taught to practice renunciation of the fruits of action. That is, he gradually eradicates in himself the wish to possess any object. He is at first voluntarily and deliberately denies himself the object and thus habituates himself to do contentedly without it. After a time, he no longer misses it, and he finds the desire for it disappearing from his mind. So the very need or greed of accumulation has to be worked upon. I don't know if I told you an daily habit what we practice. I mean, whatever I practice, that only I can say. Every time I get 1 or 2 pairs of new clothes, I would instantly keep aside 1 or 2 pairs of old clothes to give away, because I have one single almirah to keep things. I cannot just accumulate things there. So there are, let's say, 20 pieces of clothes to be there. The moment it's 22, old 2 pieces have to be removed. This is out of practice I'm doing, probably looking at this, because I have this small house and I have to live in that. I cannot just accumulate things there. But then probably that gives us a push in every other thing to do. We have extra, so you do not need to keep that extra with you. Just give it to someone else. That is how probably we can start doing in our daily habits, at least in our daily routine, small acts of, giving away, so that we do not feel accumulate, because accumulation is very overwhelming. Sometimes you will feel very bad, because when you look at so many things accumulated, you are actually not using it. That was a theory somebody said, if you're not using something for 6 months, and you know that for 6 months you have not touched that, just throw it. I mean, somebody picked up this theory. It appealed sometimes back. Okay. And I remember that there was one, this Kindle, which has a lot of books, and I probably did not read that. I didn't open that Kindle. Then I realized, oh, for 6 months I have not opened my Kindle. I must throw that now. Then I said that I gave it to my daughter, that at least you do it, because I'm going to otherwise throw it. I was just, kind of joking to her that this is how life teaches us. You are not using for 6 months something, just throw it. So the sense of accumulation will go out of you, and then you would probably restrict your desire, restrict that greediness. That is how in daily life somewhere we have to start, at least. That is how I feel. So this is how that, because otherwise, how do I control on the desire of my desires and my gratifications? Somewhere I have to start. So each of us have our own way of doing that, because only by living that desire of the fruit can we seize the karmic link. There is no other way. So what we have learned so far is that the law of karma is very clear. All actions and are effects of preceding causes, and each effect becomes a cause of future effects. And this life is not isolated. It is the child of my past lives, and this life is the parent of my future lives. And there is nothing called chance or accident. We have created, so we have to face it. Then these three mental desire and physical energies, which give us thoughts, desires, and actions, that I have to seriously follow through to understand where my thoughts are going, what kind of desires I'm having, what kind of actions I'm doing. And cessation of karma will happen only when we work upon the desire part. Now, because we have been reading reincarnation and karma for the last, this is the 6th episode, I would say, for the 6 Sundays we have been studying, I thought of, because many times I tell stories to end, but this time I will end with some questions. I had used this format of questioning in one of my other sessions, so I thought I'll repeat it, because there is no harm in repeating self-exploring questions. Now, the first question is, what to do? Where should I start? I do not say that what Suvralina will do, that Shekhar will do, or Kritika will do, or somebody else will do. No. Let us ask within ourselves, at my level, wherever I am, on this path, wherever I am, what is that I'm going to do? What is my objective? And how am I going to do that? What is that quality or that competency or skill I have that I'm going to use? Is tolerance my competency? Okay, I will start doing something and I will be more patient. No, patience is not my competency. I'm a very restless person. Okay, I will use, probably selfishness is not my competency. I'm a selfless person. So let me start from selflessness. So everyone, let us choose what to do and how to approach it and when to do. Can somebody tell me, when do I start doing it? When I'm clear? If I'm clear what I'm going to do and I know how I'm going to do, when should I do?
Right now.
Yes, I'll do it right now. So there are certain questions I would kind of repeat, and wherever I need to explain, I'll explain, or I think these are very self-explanatory. The first thing I must ask myself is, do I feel blessed? If why? If yes, why? If no, why not? If for certain things I'm blessed, that is my karmic results. For certain things I'm not blessed, that is also my karmic results. What am I grateful for? And if at all I'm grateful, I'm feeling blessed, am I grateful? Okay, I'm grateful. Do I go and express my thankfulness? Am I saying thanks very often? We do not say. Then, am I a giver or a taker? I am talking about karmic results. Am I giving or am only taking? Why am I expecting things to happen to me? How much am I giving actually? Does everything happen for a reason? So let us ask ourselves. Then there is another very interesting question which occurred to me. Is there something I'm running from? Is there something am I not ready to face? Is it time now to face it? By running from something which I'm fearful, will that help me? I'm talking about reincarnation and karma, and I'm not ready to face it. How am I going to help myself? And then there are questions like, what do I really want to do if I'm doing that or not? And what am I creating and what am I doing? If I want certain things in my life, have I created that? Have I caused that? Then the last question, do I live in the present moment or live in the past or future? What am I living in actually? Otherwise, like my dear friend had aspired to go to this past life regressions and understand what is in my life. And then luckily, all of a sudden, I just, I don't know how it occurred to me. I said, are you ready to accept your past? You're not accepting your present. Are you? So it also applies to everybody. I told her, but then again, I asked myself, probably I'm also not ready to accept my past. What if I get to know that, we might not digest it? So let us live in the present moment. And yes, there is no harm thinking about past or future, but then it will not take us anywhere, because this is the now and we have to be in the now and we have to accept it, whatever it is. That is the simplest way of accepting things happening to us. And we know that we don't have any choice than accepting it. We will lead a very, very peaceful and safe life the more and more we practice accepting what we are or what we have. Thank you all. I'm done for last 6 weeks. I really enjoyed it. This is probably my longest back-to-back Sunday sessions. I don't know when I'll get the next chance to do it, but thanks for giving me this opportunity. This was personally a very enriching experience for me, because when we speak to the world, the more we speak within. Thank you. Thank you, Shikharji, for choosing these topics for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Suvralina. So you have given us a task now. And now everybody back in their minds, there will be questions running all the time. And definitely, I think the moment we have a thought, it is going to turn out to be our next karma. So the first thing is to control our thoughts, at least to think positive. Because what we think is going to happen someday or the other. So I open the forum for any questions or suggestions or comments. And in the end, I would like Shikhar sir to make announcement for the meetings for the day. So, anybody who is having any doubt or any suggestion or wants to add on something, Vimal ma'am is here.
Yeah. So I just, one thing that occurs to me is, what is the problem and what can we do about it? One of the things one can keep in mind is not to do anything rash about it. Think a lot about it. Don't do things in a hurry and don't act out of emotion. If we stick to these two ideas, don't do it too fast and don't do it out of the seat of emotion. Try to do it at the seat of universal love and universal humanity and understanding that every person is coming from some karmic thing. Then you calm yourself down and you can write things down. But if you take a rash decision, you create more karma for yourself. So rashness and emotional response is very bad. That's my small input.
Thank you, Vimal ma'am. So is there anybody else?
Suvralina ji, this is Kevin. I'm a bit sick, basically. Uh, so, the word for moksha or mukti in my mother tongue Tamil, we say Veedapir, which translates to returning to home. So, the concept of mukti or moksha, we see it as returning to our home. I have a question and I do have to explain something. So I'll go forward. So there are these different margas and everything, different doctrines in different religions. So where I'm coming from in our India spirituality, so we all use different margas and we try to reduce our karma as little as much as possible. So if you see Bhakti Manga and people of those people who are devoted, they will say chanting, prayer, um, dipping in the Ganga, things like that. And if you see normal traditional yoga practitioners such as Kriya, Karma Yoga, and I myself come from Jnana Marga. Like, so what we do is we do understand that servicing is the most is the pinnacle of reducing our karma, reducing our karma. But there are these what would I call techniques. So you will practice your breathing techniques. You practice you will assert your bandhas. Uh, uh, then what would I say? There are certain techniques which would help you to increase your lifespan or to lead a healthy life. So after all these, so you will get a taste with the Brahma. You know what I'm talking about. So once you do it, so people will instruct that from time to time you will have to go and feel the Brahma, feel the weight of it, and to dip in the Akash Ganga to how to say it metaphorically. So even that reduces your karma. So there are these various ways of reducing your karma step by step. So what I wanted to ask is, I do believe the specific karma which you were talking about, that you'll have to reincarnate for a specific karma to happen. So I do understand this concept, but what I'm asking is, if a person has reduced all his karma except for those that one, which is a specific one, so he does a good thing. Okay, he tries things to reduce his karma for that specific one, but the time has not come. So what will happen to his good karma? Will his specific karma get reduced, or he would have to reincarnate to get rid of it?
I think you now got to learn that there are some karmic records being kept. Do we all agree now? So there is a record. It's like a bank account. Khata khul gaya bank mein, right? We have a bank account, and whatever loans we have taken, the more the duration of the repayment, the more the interest amount. We all know it, right? So somewhere, if we could start understanding that accounting or statistics of that time frame, we would realize that, and probably while you are actually repaying a particular loan and you are working hard at a job where you are getting a good bonus, let's say, so you will go and in one go you will pay that loan. You don't wait for that 25 years or 30 years of a long-term loan. You will go probably and go and pay it in a 5 years loan. So similarly, you just widen that thought pattern to a karmic account settlement. I have one account to settle with Kritika and Kevin, let's say. And luckily, we are in the same family. So I'm serving both of you. So in one go, I'm done. But then for Kritika, I have got another set of karmic things to be done. So probably me and Kritika will come back again. So this is so complicated. And interestingly, while I am serving both Kritika and Kevin at the same time to nullify my karmic link, I am getting, let's say, attracted to Kritika. Somewhere I feel that, yeah, Kritika, this life you are my daughter. I wish, in some birth I would come to you as your daughter. And I'm again, now I'm reaping that desire. I'm giving very silly examples, of course, but just to understand the gravity of the situation, how do we create it? I'll tell you, it sometimes occurred to me. This is very silly an example, but probably this works. There are many post-marital relationships happening. in people's life. And from a social norm, people really feel bad. I mean, how can, you have to marry a person, and how can, after marrying a person, how can you have a relationship with somebody else? And people just look at a very social norm. But somehow, I have seen certain examples. People have come with that kind of consulting to me also, like, why is it so? Why this married person is getting attracted to somebody even after, fully well knowing that, I recently solved two such problems of people, because I do a little bit of counseling and behavioral analysis. Two recent things happened, and we really did it. Even I started talking about karmic link to them, and somehow they got convinced. So I have at least settled two such karmic accounts, personally in recently in 2-3 months time. That is why this example comes to me. You don't know that certainly desire of having somebody in your life might come and occur in any life. So we don't know. We think, okay, it's just a desire. I didn't mean it. You meant it, man. When you desired, you meant it. It will occur to you. Be it for a day, be it for a year, be it for a life. There was, there were many television shows on this past life links and all. How did people, get connected to their past lives, and they had to face this karma in this life. So we all have to understand that. And when you talk about liberation, my dear, here, I'll tell you, Shikharji will also agree with me. There are still people who have left their physical body, but they are still there to help the mankind. You may call it a desire at a very high level, but then they have individually opted to be there to help the world. So you have to also understand what kind of a desire it is. It is a selfish desire you want to gratify, or you want a higher sense of what do you call it, accountability for the world, and you personally give your bodies or your consciousness for that particular higher desire. You may call it desire, or maybe a higher helping notion or something like that. So people are doing that. So liberation again is a choice, I think. I don't know. You want to be liberated, or you do not? Shikharji, if you could answer it. Is liberation a choice?
Yeah, I would not say liberation is a choice, but liberation is inevitable. Everybody will become liberated in someday at some point of time. But yes, it's a very important thing what Brother Kevin has raised. But I would just want to say something in this, that liberation or moksha that we talked about is not from the karma. There are people who are already liberated, but they still have a karma to pay off. Like whoever you take, Buddha, Krishna, or Jai Krishnamurti, Ram Krishna Paramhans, like even Krishna, when he died with the arrow of a person, so it was due to karma. So liberation is right here, right now, actually. And when we say moksha or liberation is realizing Brahma or God, if you make that Brahma or God a person, then it becomes something else. But if you think that realization of Brahma is realization of universal, unconditional love, or whatever you say, universality. So liberation is leaving our sense of separateness. The moment I drop my sense of separateness from the rest of the existence, I become liberated, because then I become Brahma. Brahma, what we call that. So, but what you are saying about karma, this is a very actually,
there are many words.
This is very esoteric and occult thing also. You said that if a person has worked out all his karma, it means the person must be at very high level of evolution. Such people develop, they get the capacity to manifest in the same life at two places at the same time to work out their karma. As we had example, if you read in autobiography of a yogi also, that suppose I know that, okay, although I am Indian or whatever, but I have to take birth in France, or there is a village in some family, I have some karma remaining. So I will manifest there with my powers, and I'll do my debit and credit, whatever I have to take or give, and then I will disappear from there, or all such things. But when we go deep, so but karma has to be paid. Even karma can be paid at non-physical level also, in if it is, according to that, whatever is applicable. But there is one thing, it is also said that gyan or wisdom burns the karma. What is that? It means, are we going beyond the law of karma or what? But since we know that there are three types of karma: prarabdha, sanchit, and kriyama. Prarabdha is the one which we have now, which is already decided, final. That cannot be altered. No matter even the God becomes incarnate, it cannot be changed, because it is already now, manifested in this life. But what is sanchit, that is still in store, which is to be fructified, can be changed with our current state of mind. So if suppose I have some sanchit karma, and but due to whatever reason by I become realized, so all that thing will disappear, or that energy will be distributed. But if I, in this life, I have to die in some way, or I have to have some disease or whatever, that will definitely come to me. Just like J. Krishnamurti had throat cancer or pancreatic cancer, Ramakrishna Paramahans, they all die of cancer because such karma is left to the end, so that they pay off. And final thing on this, we can really go beyond it, karma, if we stop attaching the tags, good or bad, to any consequence. Just like Suvralina ji was saying that somebody is saved from the accident, like somebody got delayed, so they were saved, the bus or something. Okay, but it is equally good if somebody had died there, because that is also paying out karma, this is also paying out karma. But our mind tells us, no, we are saved, so we are lucky and we are special and God helped us and it is good. No, neither birth nor death nor disease nor health nor money nor poorness, nothing is special or anything. It's just paying out and taking it. The moment this state of mind comes, we are liberated, because then nothing affects us, whether it is sukha, dukkha, or whatever, fame, popularity, non-popularity. So it's a very, nice, when you go deep and deep, it's thing. And really, I think if somebody really studies and practice law of karma in life, there is no need to read anything else. Because
I see Vimal ma'am raising hand.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Just one thing. See, one thing, like very often it happens a lot. Maybe all of you might have experienced somebody who's good to everybody else, your interaction with that person might be very bad. He might have done something very nasty to you. Now, what do you do in this situation? So in this situation, you realize you're paying off your bad karma, some karma towards him. He has done something bad to you because you did something bad to him. So you have balanced it. That's how you should take it. On the other hand, if you start building up a different image about that person, उसने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया तो ये this is what he really is. Actually, इतने अच्छाई के पीछे वो है. You start thinking like that. Even छोड़ो, किसी से बात नहीं करनी. Being a theosophist, आपको मालूम है कि आपको किसी से बात नहीं करनी, लेकिन मन में आप सोचते रहते हो, तो ये भी एक नया कर्मा डील हो जाता है. Because again, आप उसके लिए बुराई कर रहे हो, क्योंकि आपकी थॉट्स उसको इफेक्ट करेंगे. कहीं ना कहीं आप उसके बारे में सपोजिंग एक इमेज बनाते हैं कि वो बहुत झूठ बोलता है, तो आपने कहीं ना कहीं वो झूठ बोलने की कैपेसिटी उसमें इंक्रीज कर दी. अगर वो किसी सिचुएशन में सच बोले या झूठ बोले सोचेगा, तो उसकी टेंडेंसी झूठ के लिए ज्यादा जाएगी, क्योंकि अगर मेरे पास कुछ पावर है या मेरे जैसे और भी लोग उसके बारे में ऐसे ही सोच रहे हैं, तो वो झूठी ज्यादा बोलेगा. तो ये एक चीज समझने की बात, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि हर पर्सन को हमें जज ही नहीं करना चाहिए, हमें पता ही नहीं है उसके अंदर क्या है। आप जज ही मत करो, उसे बुरा किया जज मत करो, अच्छा किया तब भी जज मत करो, जज ही मत करो, वी डोंट नो। अच्छा हुआ, चलो अच्छा हो गया, ठीक है, बी हैप्पी इन दैट। दैट्स वन इम्पॉर्टेंट सॉर्ट ऑफ लेसन आई फील इन लाइफ, जो मैंने सीखा है, क्योंकि बहुत सारी गलत घटनाएं लाइफ में होती हैं और कई बार वो अच्छे लोगों से होती हैं।
I totally agree. Yes, yes.
I can relate to it, what you're saying. When I was a child, no, I had this habit of like मैंने मान लो किसी के बारे में, if I thought that okay, this person is pure, good and all, the moment I would find some loophole in that person, na, it will break my heart. Oh, I never thought, and as a child, no, you feel really bitter about this kind of experience. I thought this person is so and so, why did this person, behave like this? You create bad notions about people, and which is not very healthy. Luckily, at a very younger age, I come out of that. Otherwise, I would have grown as a person who would have looked at negativities in people. Luckily, it didn't go for long, but as a child, I had experienced this, and it will actually shatter you within. Okay, this person I thought is like this, but he or she's so and so. It doesn't help much. The more and more we come out of that loop, it's better for us.
और कई बार ना, द पर्सन जिसने गलत किया है वो भी किसी फोर्स से एक्ट कर रहा है, नॉर्मली शायद नहीं एक्ट करे, वैसे उसने एक सेकेंड गलत डिसीजन लिया। मैं जब 5 साल की थी तो माय पेरेंट्स हैड गॉट वन रीडर्स डाइजेस्ट की बहुत ही सॉलिड स्टोरी बुक, फेरी टेल्स की। तो आई वाज वेरी प्राउड, उसमें खूब सारे पिक्चर्स थे, कांट रीड, मदर यूज्ड टू रीड इट आउट। तो इतनी मोटी बुक थी, तो मैंने अपनी दोस्त को बुलाया। आज तक मुझे उस लड़की का नाम याद है यार, क्यों नाम याद है पता नहीं, कितने सारे नाम भूल गए, लेकिन उस लड़की का नाम याद है, उसका नाम रानी था। तो वो आई घर और उसको मैंने दिखाई, ये देखो ये देखो। आई वॉज बीइंग वेरी प्राउड, ऑब्वियसली उसको हर्ट हुआ होगा। उसने वो घर गई जाते ऐसे हाथ हिलाते हिलाते गई। हमारा घर फर्स्ट फ्लोर में था और नीचे जाके उसको छोड़ के मैं गेट तक छोड़ के आई थी, तो छोड़ के आई वापस फर्स्ट फ्लोर में, बुक मिसिंग, और महंगी बुक थी उस टाइम की, मेरे फादर की आधी सैलरी की वो बुक थी, बहुत महंगी थी वो। I told my mother, मम्मी it was here, I don't know where it's gone, कहाँ गया, कुछ नहीं। They searched everywhere, छोटा सा घर और कुछ भी ज्यादा सामान नहीं, ढूंढा कहीं नहीं मिला। फिर उनको लगा कि उस लड़की ने ही चुराया होगा, तो वो मेरी मदर उस लड़की के घर गई। लड़की के माँ बिल्कुल एंग्री, हाउ कैन यू से दैट चाइल्ड वाज आल्सो 5, हाउ कैन यू से अ 5-year-old कैन बी। वी केम बैक होम, फिर ढूंढा, फिर पता है कहाँ वो बुक मिला, जहाँ सीढ़ी नीचे जाती है ना, उसके पीछे एक शेल्फ टाइप का था, उसमें उस लड़की ने बुक रख दिया था। Normally, maybe that child may not have done, but that impulse of hatred towards me, how dare she be so proud of this? Is she superior to me? Who does she think she is? So that's my example.
Wonderful discussion. So now I would like to invite Brother Shikhar to make the announcements.
Thank you, Kadi. First of all, yeah, not congratulations, but thank you to Suvralina ji for such a wonderful presentation in invoking this discussion. And regarding announcements, yeah, just came to know about one announcement that our dear Kritika will be speaking at 10:30 a.m. in a couple of hours in the Indian section meeting. So please do attend that. And it will be very.
And Vimal ji is presiding in that.
Vimal ji is presiding in that. Okay, and that.
हम musical chair खेल रहे हैं।
And then at 11:30, UP Federation and Uttarakhand Federation are doing a program of basics of Theosophy. So, but it will be in Hindi. So those who want to know more about 7 principles, 7 planes, 7 bodies, all together by Brother S.S. Gautam, National Lecturer. Part 1, Part 2 will be on 27th February. So that is 11:30 a.m. And then in the evening, there is a cup of Theosophy with the president, as you can see. So keep your cup of tea or coffee or lemonade, or depending wherever you are. green tea or whatever, that you can join at 5 p.m. today, Indian Standard Time. There will be some question and answers with the president and a couple of presentations and about ADR Day also, which is coming on 17th February. So this will be at 5 p.m. So, okay, thank you, Kritika, for the time. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Brother Shikhar. And I think it's time already. So let's proceed. So let us sit in silence for a minute and absorb all the things we learned today. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashit Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much, Sister Suvralina, for explaining so nicely about karma, about reincarnation. So let's meet. Let's meet next week, same place and same time, for another new chapter and interesting session. And please be safe